Hi everybody!
Hello Internet!
Welcome back to another video on this channel, and yes, for once it's actually gaming related stuff again.
Well, for thrice.
For thrice, yes.
Maybe more, I don't remember.
The last video was the food review.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Anyways, if you're new here, my name is Ria, and today I have John joining me.
Hello.
For those of you who do not know, he is my husband.
It's true.
Today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy Rebirth. I know for those of you who have been hanging around for a bit, this has been a video quite in the making. We've been putting this off for a while. I have not played Final Fantasy Rebirth, and it's funny because the game is right up my alley, ideally, but I have just not been interested. So I figured we would talk to John because John is really into Final Fantasy. He's played pretty much, I feel like you've played almost all of them.
Yeah. I really didn't like 8. I know a lot of people liked 8. I didn't like 8.
You didn't like 4 either, right?
4 was okay.
Let's talk about Rebirth because I have a little bit of context from, and this is probably a terrible place to get it, but I have a bit of context from the internet because everybody talks over and over and over again about how Sephiroth does things to certain people in this game. In the very beginning, there's that sort of iconic scene that we've seen on the internet with Sephiroth, like, basically losing it, right? Finds out all these secrets about his mom and yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
So how was that playing it this time around versus when the times that you've previously played it?
Well, this time he didn't fly.
I didn't know he flew previously.
Oh yeah, it was a whole thing. Yeah, it's neat to kind of like see it like redone and like I would argue much better written, where you have someone who already kind of just like didn't like existing completely losing their shit and like going down a horrible spiral into madness. They did a much better job making it coherent. Yeah, I would say.
How does it feel more coherent than the other game?
They actually tried writing.
So they weren't writing before? Or is it just so convoluted?
The biggest problem I had with the original game was that things either made little to no sense, or it was horrendously convoluted, or it was really obvious that they had cut content but didn't bother trying to like put things together to make it make sense without the middle being completely missing.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was just not very well written. Then again, this is like going back 20 years. So
right.
When you're coming off the heels of some of the better RPGs of the 90s, it was a little bit jarring, but then again, it was also the first major full like 3D title from the studio.
Right.
So there were priorities.
Yeah.
I would imagine. And then the translation team, I feel like, didn't really do a good job to start with.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot was also lost in translation.
I feel like that with a lot of games now, that anything that really ends up on a PS5 that has been redone or like a continuation of a story, I just feel like it's a bit cleaner, relatively speaking, but that's because this is like pretty much top tier technology that we're exposed to now.
I just think the bar has been set a little bit higher over the last, I'd say, 10 to 15 years in terms of like what people are expecting from a narrative. The whole, I don't want to say like a Last of Us effect, but I feel like that was kind of where, you know, the needle really moved in terms of, oh, we can do that sort of thing. God of War 2016 also comes to mind. They really wanted to try to make something that was more than just running in and, you know, getting blood and guts everywhere.
You're a side quest guy. I have to watch him
do
every single side quest that comes up.
Not all of them.
A significant number of them. Like, I'm very, like, not side quests, but he's very much... What do you think has been the toughest side quest so far?
Toughest? Oh, God. I mean, they're not particularly hard, it's just...
Okay, infuriating. Yeah, what's been the most infuriating one?
Probably trying to play Fall Guys as a frog.
I thought you were going to pick the dancing one.
Oh, no, dancing's fine. Trying to do all the parade drills, that was a lot of fun. Depending on how far people got, there's an entire second one you do as part of the date. You have to basically perform in an operetta, and like that is also like a quick time thing that you can play through. That was also very fun. Going back to their 90s roots, because in, I think, was it Final Fantasy 3, where you had to memorize lines to an opera and then perform it. This one, you don't have to memorize lines.
Oh, that's good.
But it is like a full half hour of watching a play and then going through all that. That was fun, though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It was like a nice little nod back, because the actual play that you do also references like the very first game as well.
I think you kind of answered it already, but was there something like super nostalgic about this?
I mean, the game existing is in itself nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right? Because they hit all the main story beats, but the whole thrust of like the remakes, both like the one that came up previously and now part 2, is that it's not strictly a remake. You're hitting the same story beats, but the story being told is a little bit different, because like the villain in the first part is, haha, nostalgia, you're a dumbass. Like, things don't need to necessarily always be exactly the same to tell a similar story. A lot of focus has been on building the friendship and relationships between the characters, whereas before there was really only focus on like maybe like 1 or 2 characters, and you didn't really get to know anyone else, or when they did interact, it was like really short. Whether or not it was because they couldn't make the longer game that they wanted to, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But this time, like, everybody feels like a person.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you find things to relate to basically with each character.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to ask about, and I hope you have footage of this.
I might not.
Are chocobo obsessed. One of the things that I love about this game is like John will go to the bus stop and there's like a chocobo there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the fun thing about the overworld in this game is you can unlock fast travel points that are also, it's not necessarily a bus stop, it's like find a bird stop, but in order to find them, the best way to do it is like you can just be running around the map and then you see a baby chocobo run by and you're like, I gotta catch that fucker. And then you follow him around and then he leads you to the bus stop because he wants pets. Spoilers, every region of the game you pet the bird a different way. And each region has its own bird.
Oh my god.
If you nap at the bus stop, the bird falls asleep with you, and you wake up, and he like gets up, and he's like, "Oh, it's go time!"
Oh, that's so cute. That's also really funny. So, what are some of the highlights that you wanted to add on about the game?
What I do like this, so with Rebirth versus Remake, the combat was definitely beefed up. Like they definitely made it a lot deeper and a little more complicated. But it's nice having different abilities that you can use, like between 2 characters instead of just the one. So you get to quote Chrono Trigger, you can get like double techs just to advance like the time gauge with 2 characters instead of just 1.
Okay.
Which is pretty fun and kind of neat because they're like tiny little limit breaks that you can
interesting.
that you can use. Getting to kind of like figure out how you can combo those into different things as you play has been a lot of fun.
How many hours have you logged in this thing?
72 hours. And I don't think I've technically finished chapter 12 yet.
Just for context, are you more than halfway?
I'm kind of in the run to the last chapter. I can't remember if there's 1 or 2 or maybe 3 left. I haven't read how many chapters are in it. If you liked the original game, give them both a go. I know it's a little expensive. I know it's a long time. Games are expensive now.
I know, games are so pricey now.
But yeah, like if you like the original, give it a go. If you don't like where Sony has gone with, or where Square has gone with like 3D RPGs, it's probably not for you. There's other ways around it. Like you can set it up so that it basically slows down time when you go to input commands, so it feels like the older games, which might work for you. Honestly, play a demo. But I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Cool. And you're gonna finish it.
Yeah, eventually.
Or attempt to finish it.
There is one bone I have to pick with Rebirth, actually, is that for some reason, and I don't know if they did this for the JP release as well, but if you're playing the game basically in North America, as far as I know, and if you have your subtitles set to English, as far as I know, Aerith sings a song, and it's in English, even if you have the Japanese dub selected.
That's weird.
Which is well and truly bizarre, because it's just suddenly it's a completely different person and it totally takes you out of it.
That's so random.
But yeah, I mean, the whole scene was really cute.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I guess we'll see you when we see you, which will probably be next week. Thank you
Okay,
for watching.
bye.
Bye. Ah.
Ow.
More pickle, more pickle. At least we have a friendly one here too.
Yeah.